Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends!
Wow.
Wow. I hope everybody's having a great day. And welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
No, Dave. Dave's back in Hollow Earth.
Yep.
Apparently there was an issue with their servers, so he's got to take care of that. And I assume with all the technology of the Anunnaki and the Hollow Earth, servers wouldn't be
They would be as shoddy as they are, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Well,
I thought it was a heat issue. It's really hot up here right now.
Oh my god!
And maybe more
I think
climate.
It's hot everywhere.
Yeah, and it could be more climate control down in the Hollow Earth.
Maybe.
it's as hot as probably a portal to hell right now in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I imagine this is the heat you experience when you're traveling down.
Right.
Yeah, to the netherworld.
As soon as you go through the portal, it's like this right now on the other side of that portal.
Yeah,
I
if you're
gotcha.
listening from another country, like, I don't know, Canada probably isn't as hot as it is right now.
Right.
We're in Pennsylvania, United States, and I tell you,
It's a little warm.
my, what do you call that? My thermometer in my car, thermometer, said 100 degrees on the way back from Mood Duck.
I think the heat index is like mid.
Like 110, 115.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Now, keep in mind, see, I'm from Arizona, so that's not all that uncommon in Arizona is to be at 115. But our humidity is like 100%. It's like 80%
bad.
humidity and feeling like 115 out there.
Yeah,
it's pretty
bad.
miserable.
In Arizona.
No, here.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Back home, back in Arizona, it's 115, 120, but there's like 1% humidity.
That's why I
Right.
was confused for a second.
Yeah.
'Cause I always
Yeah.
thought like it could be 100, like say in Las Vegas.
Yep.
But it doesn't feel near as bad as sometimes 85 in Pennsylvania. You're just like dripping buckets.
Yeah, it doesn't happen like that back
Yeah.
home. No.
Like you got to go take a couple pairs of underwear just to go to work.
And put 'em on your head?
Well, wherever you need to put 'em.
just a storm, just for
I'm just
carrying.
saying. It's pretty swampy.
It gets pretty swampy here. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Surprised we don't have any swamp apes up here.
We should.
Skunk apes.
I was
swamp
gonna say,
apes.
I kind of feel like one from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
You do.
stanky. Just
On this episode, we're going to talk about something called I'm probably going to mispronounce it, so I'm going to kick it over to Alicia to say it properly. Haha, put you on the spot.
Villisca.
Villisca,
Yeah.
the axe murder
Villisca.
house, where a very tragic, sad, like 8 people were murdered in
Yeah.
this house in Iowa. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what happened, the fact that to this day it's an unsolved case,
Yeah.
but also the paranormal in this house.
Right.
right.
And we also have listener feedback on the second half. He would like to remain anonymous, so Mr. Anonymous sent us a story. I would call it a unexplained incident.
Okay.
When you hear it, it's very unexplainable.
Right. right.
And as usual, we always have some listener feedback to get to first. But actually, no. First, I would like to congratulate a member of the podcast, Mr. Nash. He won the homebrewer contest last week at the Funk Moo homebrew event.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, bro. You with the coffee Kolsch.
That's right. And my coconut chocolate porter, but I think everybody was raving about the coffee Kolsch. That was, I think, the one that drove it home.
And I was there to help you out for 3 hours in the parking lot. I was fortunate enough to be able to pour the coffee Kolsch because that regulator, that tap system was working great. your coconut porter was
Not
just
so
it was
much.
nothing but foam.
Yeah, it was pretty nice because the Kolsch came out really nice. It was a nice easy pour. The porter that I had, the equipment that I was using, I have like a good set of equipment and then a not so good set of equipment. And the not so good is what I was using. So every taste of porter I was giving, I had to pour some of it out or pour it into a Gatorade bottle and drink it myself. So it was good for me because there was a lot of foam, but it went over well.
Well, yeah, your coffee Kolsch was great. Very happy for you. You get part of winning. You get to brew a big batch of this beer that was going to be on tap at Moo Duck Brewery.
That's right. So
it's going and now Mike, the brewer, is going to tweak it a little bit. It's going to be a coconut coffee Kolsch.
Yep.
And after a long debate today, pre-gaming before the podcast, we did pick a name.
We did. It's Beer for My Bigfoot.
Beer for My Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's going to be a coffee coconut Kolsch, which should still be light and coconutty, but coffee forward, but not too forward. It should be a nice, easy drinker.
And I'm going to do a commemorative T-shirt design.
Yep.
So that should be awesome. And if you're in Lancaster County, Dauphin County, anywhere.
Stop on by.
Yeah, come down and get a beer. We're going to be hanging out, and then we'll have some T-shirts. It'll be pretty awesome.
And to talk about Moo Duck, they're right next to a train station. So literally, you can take the train in, walk like 50 yards over to the brewery, have some of the beer, hit the train, head back, whatever you like.
So,
oh, my God, I never thought about that, Nash. You're right. I'm starting to interrupt you. Yeah, there's the train station literally is right by the brewery.
is right there.
You
across
can
the
come
street.
down. You could come from Philadelphia, New York, and literally get off the train in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
And walk right into the brewery, and we'll be there.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Now, when is this going down?
Well, that's a really good question. I just sent over the recipe now, so I'm going to be getting together with Mike, coming up with putting the recipe together, and then it's a little bit of trial and error before we put it on, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Trial and error. And
you're going to need some qualified taste testers.
Yeah, exactly. And when we kind of find out how it should be put together, we'll get it done. So might be a couple of weeks. It might be
to be announced.
TBA.
Yeah, TBA.
Yes. I'll say TBD, but TBA.
TBA.
Yeah, that's right.
And we'll definitely let you know. And hey, if you like craft beers, if you just like,
that's right.
You don't have to have a craft beer. You can have a refreshing glass of water and still hang out and check out the T-shirt and meet Nash and meet us.
That's right.
We'll let you know. I think it'll be really fun.
I'm excited. I'm like giddy like a schoolgirl.
And your beer was delicious. So I'm really
thank
anxious. You. And I'm going to go and help brew.
Yep.
Sort of help brew. I want to see the whole process. But I'm mostly going to do photography so I can commemorate this big event for you, bro.
Well, and who knows? There might be pictures on the website. You never know.
I'll definitely post them.
Yeah. So there could be stuff around so you could see us in action, actually putting the beer together in the whole 9 yards, and then enjoying it after the fact.
So congratulations.
Yep.
Thank you.
Probably, me helping you pour, probably.
Yeah, that's really what did it. That's really what did
my
it.
sunshine personality. All right. It is time for listener feedback, brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot, the only book series that drops the 15th of every month on Amazon. If you like Bigfoot and you like good storytelling, you should go check it out. And Lish loves it, and it's always
It's great.
all right. All right, let's jump into this. I want to start out with a quick shout out to Saturday Adventures. That would be Paul and Anna. They do a lot of cool things. They trip around the country and check stuff out. They went down to see Robert the Doll.
Oh, no.
Well, they did a couple stops on the way down. I'm sure we'll get some awesome photography later. But they did hit Florida, saw Robert, and got his photo.
Did they ask? Did they?
Paul said he asked for permission.
Okay.
Yeah. And what was really cool is Art Design. I almost forgot what I wanted to say. Art Designs 305. He follows us on Instagram. And on the last episode, he had talked about if you're ever in Florida, check out Wynwood. And Paul and Anna were actually listening to that episode on their way traveling.
Really?
Down to Florida.
Yeah.
So they went and checked out Wynwood. I'm like, that is so awesome.
And the pictures that he posted, oh my God, they look so good.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, and also Paul sent a really cool little D&D type screen with some photos he took.
Yeah.
It's super awesome, and some more stickers. Paul, Anna, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm a little bit envious of all the cool traveling you do. So keep it up, and hopefully someday you randomly bump into us because we're inspired enough to start traveling ourselves.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today.
Might save that for later. We heard from our awesome, amazing friend, Rhonda Del Baccio.
Yep.
Rhonda.
She was on the show. I forget the episode number, but Rhonda, thank you for still listening, still supporting. You're awesome. I'm going to butcher this one word, but I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe I should have Lish read this. Despite your incredulous. God. Right? Right? I think Rhonda used this word knowing
Just
that
knowing that we would do this, yeah.
Despite your incredulity, your show is informative as well as fun. I always learn some tidbit or lore or whatever that I don't know before. Through all the joking around and silliness. Best way to learn. I'm sorry, I read that terribly.
Oh, boy.
But Rhonda's saying you can learn a lot through all of our goofiness.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving us much more than I think that we do. Thank you so much. Much more credit than I think that we give. Yeah.
Rhonda's awesome. We heard from Christina. She said, just finished listening. Great job as always. Y'all had me laughing my butt off. And if y'all want to make a video of my dad protecting me from the Ernie doll, go for it. I'd love to see it. And Alicia did a great job telling it.
Oh,
Keep it up.
you.
Keep it weird, and much love.
Oh.
Thanks, Christina. And I actually was talking to Bill, one of the bartenders at Funk, who's really into acting, and I think we're going to try to line this up.
Really?
Yeah.
And make this happen.
That would be fantastic.
It'd just be like a little short little ditty. Probably have Lish do the voiceover. So there's no dialogue to write, no scripts to write. They just have to act.
Right.
So I think it'd be really super awesome. If you're just tuned in right now, this is the only episode you ever listened to, go back to the last one to know what we're talking about. But creepy dolls. We heard from Andrea. This episode was one heck of a ride. It was like the Polar Express when it not only goes off the rails, but travels a mile away from the rails. Fun episode, nonetheless. I can't wait for the next one. Thanks, Andrea. And that's in reference to the Montauk Project.
The Montauk, yes.
And we went, we're in PA. We went so far off the rails, we practically were in Long Island.
Yeah.
That's how, it was crazy.
It went so far off the rails. And we just kept going and going. It was a lot of fun.
We heard from Alberto, who is also Art Designs 305, in reference to our podcast. It's super funny, great content, makes my workday go much faster. Nash rules.
That's right. What's up? Putting skin for the win, baby.
Oh, God.
And is it Alberto or is it Alberto? Right. It sounds very mysterious. Alberto. Right? Putting skin for the win. That's right. 2019. Here we go.
The funny thing is, this whole putting skin, I'm on board now.
Yeah, see? Right?
I'm like, hashtag putting skin.
Hashtag putting skin, baby.
If you can't beat it, join it.
That's right. It's a movement. One would say it's almost a movement. Almost.
Well, once Rhonda approved it,
yeah.
I was pretty much in.
That's it.
I just needed a voice of reason.
Some
to say
validation from somebody sane. Yeah.
Because sane is never used with you talking about you. We heard from Ryan F. Hey, guys. Came across an interesting topic while browsing around on Reddit. Alton Towers, an amusement park in England that is supposedly cursed and haunted. It's been around since the 1800s, but has only been an amusement park since the 1980s. The more I look into it, the creepier it sounds.
A cursed and haunted amusement park.
Right.
I feel like there might be quite a few.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Do a lot of people die unexpectedly?
Yeah.
Or are there some...
Well, I feel like things have improved but like years and years
In the
ago.
beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning, they didn't have like rules and regulations for these rides.
Safety codes and things like that.
So I feel like a lot of people probably died.
Well, see, I can see the haunted, but the cursed. Oh, I wonder if the cursed was there before the place was put into effect.
Well, there's that place in. Is it West Virginia?
Yeah.
No.
Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. It's supposedly built on desecrated Indian burial grounds.
Of course.
No, I'm not making that up.
Oh my gosh!
And plus, people have died there on some of the rides.
Yeah.
Again, whole ride issue. That is the place I want to take you to, Nash, for our live podcast.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, Ryan says, he finishes it up here. He says, also updated my St. Louis trip. Didn't make it to Lamp Mansion.
Aw.
That's all right.
They only do tours for the public on Mondays. I was there on a Tuesday and Wednesday. Next time I visit, I will for sure go. Anyways, keep up the great work. Love the podcast. Eagerly await every episode.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Thank you.
I'm surprised they only do tours on Mondays. That's weird.
I know. Like, yeah, maybe make some more money and have tours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday.
Or at least the weekend.
Yeah, the weekend would be. That's when most people want to like go do
Right.
something
Right.
fun.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Who knows? I don't know. It might be a whole supply versus demand kind of a thing, and getting
Maybe.
overhead and staff to do it.
I don't know.
I don't know. Or maybe they just found out that the beginning of the week's the most activity that they found.
Maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right?
If Monday is the highest level of paranormal activity, it's the high you can charge the most for that day.
Right. And the rest of people were like, it was good. It was nice, but I didn't
Right.
really see much. But on Mondays, they're like, oh my gosh, this is happening on Monday.
Huh.
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know. Ryan, I hope you get to check it out. And if we
Yeah.
ever get out that way, I want to check it out. So we heard from Parabox Monthly on Instagram. Parabox Monthly. They have a monthly subscription box.
Yes.
Subscription box.
Yeah.
Love this episode. Really got my gears turning. Nice work. That's in reference to the Montauk Project.
Yes.
Oh.
And I would like to say to Parabox Monthly, hey, you want to sponsor a podcast that talks about the paranormal?
Yep.
Give us a
Give
call.
us a shout.
Let's do this.
Let's see. Oh, this was really interesting on Instagram. We heard from John Bradley. He was talking about the big dish, the Sage.
Right. The same. Right.
Whatever, satellite thing.
Yeah.
So apparently they removed the 6 electric motors that released the locking mechanism so it couldn't get torn down during like a windstorm or something.
Okay.
Apparently one day, because they removed all that all the motors, one day it was pointing in the wrong direction, so everybody in Montauk woke up, saw that, and freaked out. They thought it was active and the dish was turning.
Oh, God.
That's hilarious.
So it's responding to the wind and whatnot, like a windsock on top of a farm,
Yeah.
or something like that. Wow.
And I can see it makes sense. Like
Yeah, because if it's not, the wind shear
wind's
alone
gonna-
would
yeah.
Right.
just tear it down.
we heard from the No Sleaze Brocast.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And they said, at work today in our creepy haunted basement, continually seeing this pop-up tent out of the corner of my eye and thinking it was a ghost. I don't think it matters how big your arms are or how strong you are. I don't think you can punch a ghost, right or wrong.
I think we could go down there and take care of that ghost. I
No,
think
we've been down in there. We did.
Yeah, we've
we
been
caught some
down there.
EVPs in their basement.
But I would also say that the guys at the No Sleeves, they're big dudes, but
I don't think it really matters how big your muscles are.
There you go.
I think when it comes to the paranormal,
Yeah.
they just kind of melt into little cups of butter.
Yeah.
I know Norm does.
Yeah.
No, the picture he had sent to us about that, if you look at it, it
kinda looks like
like a ghost.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And but right or wrong, I don't think you punch a ghost, but it's certainly fun to try.
It's certainly fun to try. That's right.
Right. And don't throw out your shoulder swinging in the air.
Right.
So, all right. Love you guys. You're awesome. Let's see. Oh, we heard from Isaac on Twitter. You guys should cover the Isaac. I apologize. I'm about to butcher this. I'm going to actually see if Nash can even try it. Ojai.
Ojai.
How would you pronounce Ojai? Oh,
It's Ojai.
Dude, you're awesome.
Okay.
I actually thought you would butcher that.
No, it's Ojai.
What if you're wrong?
No, it's Ojai.
All right.
Is it in California?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's right. You're from out that
There's
area.
an Ojai, California.
You guys should cover the Ojai Vampire and the Ojai Charman.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
I've never heard of this, but I'm super interested.
Some guy got too close to a barbecue. The Charman is well done.
Ojai.
In
Charman.
Ojai. Yeah,
Thanks,
the Ojai
man.
Charman. Yeah.
I would honestly, if I didn't ask you, I was gonna say this. Ojaya.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I would sound like a complete idiot, like I just did. So I'm glad I asked you first. And we heard from Kristen Rock Shimmy 90. How you doing? She actually lives up on Long Island, and now after our episode, she's super excited to go check it out.
Yeah?
She's got to get there before it gets cold. Since it's right on the water, it would be frigid. So she's thinking maybe October. And
What? I'm thinking like this weekend.
well, she might have other things going on.
No, that's irrelevant.
And she said when she found out that the show Stranger Things was based around that and was originally going to be called Montauk, the little nerd in her exploded.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
As soon as I found out, I'm right there with you. As soon as I found out that the two were kind of connected, oh my gosh.
Yeah, super cool.
Wow.
Now, there was I forget the name on Instagram, but in response to one of your posts about Stranger Things was based on Montauk, they just replied, it's not.
it's not. And I was like, okay, well, you can go look it up.
I was like, yeah, that's still funny. But, all right. Hey, if you would like to send us feedback, just go to paranormalpunchers.com or go to Facebook. We're on there, too.
Yep.
We love to hear from you. We love stories. We love your opinions. Well, we just generally just love you because you're awesome.
That's right.
All right. Are you guys ready to dig in to the main topic?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Lish, it's pronounced
Villisca, I think.
Villisca.
That's how I would say it. Villisca.
Villisca.
It's Villisca, Iowa.
So this whole thing stemmed... Oh, yeah, Iowa. So this whole thing started... It was... 8 people were murdered
Yes.
back June 9th, 1912 in Iowa.
So you have 9th? So I have the 10th/11th.
I have the 10th versus 11th also.
Okay. What the heck?
Well, we'll average it out and say
Yeah.
the 10th.
Okay.
But yeah, it was 2 adults and 6 children were brutally murdered with an axe. To this day, it's an unsolved. It's an unsolved crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Terrible, tragic crime. Now, all that. Also, this house that is supposed to be extremely. The paranormal activity is high.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And we'll get into all that, but we'll just start with the history of what happened
Okay.
on June 9th, 1912 in Iowa. Alicia.
Okay. So the people involved in this is Josiah and Sarah. They're the parents. Then there are 4 children, which is Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul, ages 11 to age 5. And there was 2 other children that were murdered that night, and they were neighbors.
Right, they were just sleeping over. They
Yeah.
were having a sleepover.
Yeah,
Right.
they're having a sleepover, and it's Ina and Lena, age 8 and 12. Okay, so that just gives you an idea of like how old these people were, parents and these kids. So that evening they attended the Presbyterian church where they participated in a Children's Day program, which Sarah had actually she coordinated the whole thing. Okay. After the program ended at 9:30, they walked home and they arrived home around 9:45, 10 o'clock. The next morning, around 7 a.m., their neighbor was like, there's nobody coming out of the house. They're not, the kids aren't running around. I'm really confused. So she walked over and knocked on the door. Nobody answered. So she tried to open the door. It was locked. So at that point, she was like, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on, but she let their chickens out because I guess that was their thing in the morning. And then she called Ross Moore, which is Josiah's brother. He came over. He did the same thing. Knocked. Nobody answered. He tried to open the door. It was locked. He had a house key that I guess had been given to him. He opened it up, walked into one of the first rooms, which was on the downstairs. And that's where Ina and Lena had been sleeping. He found their bodies on the bed. So at that point, he walked back out of the house and told the neighbor, he was like, you need to call Hank Horton, who was the primary peace officer in the area. They didn't really have...
Like sheriff.
Yeah, basically. And he arrived shortly after that, but that they found the rest of the victims. And a lot of people actually came to the house after that. And
that's kind of...
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
So there was no crime scene control.
Right.
No.
Nobody set up the yellow tape.
no.
Right.
They estimate over 100 people just showed up
Just
to this.
Yeah.
showed up and walked through
Like
the scene.
it was some event to see.
Right.
It's
Right.
downright crazy.
Yeah, let me go look at these.
And people
these
were touching
mutilated
things.
People.
Yeah.
They were touching stuff. They were moving on. They were moving shit. They could absolutely obliterated
Right.
the crime scene.
Right.
Like
Oh, yeah.
they ruined everything.
And
It's
Any
so
evidence
insane.
that would have been there, that I think it was tampered.
It
or whatever,
said that they like had a front porch. That there were so many people packed on this front porch trying to get in to look at these bodies that people were literally falling off the porch.
Oh my god!
It's crazy to think that this was like a spectacle.
Did you... I came across where they were taking bits of, like, skull bits.
What?
I didn't hear that.
What?
Yeah, the people were actually going through the crime scene and taking bits of skull that they found in the house as a memento.
Oh, my God.
Like a tourist thing, coming through and taking skull bits and taking them home and taking evidence off of. It's like taking it home. Oh my god,
That's bizarre.
yeah, that's straight up gross. But keep in mind, this is 1912. They might
That
not,
doesn't make it any better.
well, but they might not have had the tape. They might not have had a way to guard against
Yeah.
everybody aside from some.
No, I actually read that the sheriff or whatever, the person in charge, whatever. I guess he was the sheriff.
Yeah.
If he tried to chase people away from the front door, all he did was run around the back door. He could not keep them out
Yeah.
of this house. They actually, I guess he was trying to make some bit of an attempt, but it was very unsuccessful.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they found 2 cigarettes like up in the attic. And so the theory was that these killer or killers were waiting up in the attic for the family to go to sleep, and then they came down. They're thinking they started with the parents first, killed them, went down and killed the kids. And then they went down to the 2 neighbor girls that were sleeping there and killed them. Went back up and killed, like, I guess they used the axe some more on the parents or whatever.
They jacked up. They really dove into the it's a terrible word, but it went after like the husband, the father.
Yeah.
Was it Josiah?
Yeah, the father, I mean, he was hit so badly that they couldn't even find his eyes. I'm assuming they were completely
Just
destroyed.
obliterated.
Yeah.
But the murder...
Why are you laughing?
I know. Why are you
Oh my
laughing?
god! Oh god!
Oh, you're laughing
in disgust.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! It's
So the murder weapon was found, I think, down in the 2 neighbor girls that were killed there in their room. And it's an axe that belonged to the father, Josiah.
Now it's funny that you not funny, but what I had read, and it didn't specify about the cigarettes in the attic. But the imagery that I got was that somebody went to the backyard or whatever, got the axe, got Josiah's axe.
Okay.
And I'm thinking 1912, a 1912 axe. And there's some images online. They're going to have a blunt edge on the one side. So it talked about
Yes.
like bludgeoning people and using it as a blunt force trauma. And I'm thinking, that's an axe. Why would you blunt force trauma somebody? Unless you had a grudge or something personal.
Right.
I mean, that plays into some of the suspects.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, have you ever swung an axe
Oh, all the time.
A big axe chopping wood. Sometimes you mess up and it flips. You hit it wrong and it flips
Correct.
on you, and you end up hitting it.
Yeah,
But I feel like the father was the only one that was hit with the sharp part of the axe, and everybody else was the blunt side of it.
See, that's very
right. It's very specific to Josiah.
Yeah.
And the imagery that I got was that someone came, got the axe, and broke into the house, and it seemed like it was more random or occult related.
Okay.
Instead of, I didn't find anything about the 2 cigarettes in the attic.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like, okay, somebody had targeted this family.
Literally, if you're hiding in the attic to do bad things, like that's just like it should have been. Feels like a dead giveaway. You could smell cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
A mile away.
Quite a while. Yeah.
That's just so bizarre. I mean, is that like falsified evidence? Do you know, or did they really find
idea.
that,
or was the dad going up there and smoking a cigarette and hoping?
Yeah, were they cigarette butts from not the person they assumed was in the attic?
Yeah,
but just
I don't
from
know
anybody, and they were up there.
I mean, you could pick that up. We go out sometimes here on our patio, and I could pick up a cigarette smoker 5 houses away.
Yeah.
The wind just
smell it. Yeah.
lets you know. So you would think when you were going to tucking yourself in, you'd be like, I smell cigarettes.
And what sucks is back then they didn't have like DNA evidence, so it's not like they could even check the cigarettes. Like, oh, whose DNA is on this? But
and I'm thinking also the age of the kids was basically like what, 6 to 12 or
5 to 12. I think 12 is the oldest.
It's terrible.
And I'm thinking of that age. So I don't know about the two of you, but when I was that age, you start to expand on like, okay, well, not that I'm going to try smoking, but
it could be.
Oh, I'm with you.
This is in 1912.
One of the kids. So the cigarette butt could have been up there for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have been them sneaking a cigarette and maybe trying it and realizing they didn't like it, or who knows what. But experimentation up in the attic, who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like a 12, 13-year-old kid is
it's
really
about that time.
It's about that time where they start reaching out and trying new stuff. That could have been the one thing. And this is 1912.
Yeah.
So who knows? That could have been something that was cutting edge and cool.
Or if the murderer was in the attic having a couple of cigs, he could have put it out long before.
He could have scoped the whole thing out.
The scent just wasn't there.
Right.
That leads me to a little bit of like forensic type conversation we're having with you guys. First off, we talked about how it was a madhouse, and all these people wanted. Again, all these people walking through, which is bizarre. People don't want to walk through and see these mutilated bodies. There was a guy, I think it was a local, the drugstore guy worked there. He had a camera. He came over with his camera, took some pictures, and I think it was the dude who was killed, Mr. Whatever.
Yeah. Josiah.
Josiah's his brother grabbed the dude's camera and smashed it because he was just so mad.
Yeah.
Rightfully
things
so.
got so out of control.
Yeah.
The National Guard came.
Wow.
And essentially, the town was under martial law that night.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's how crazy things got. Now, I mentioned forensics. This was a time period where, obviously,
It didn't really exist.
And fingerprinting was a new.
It was new.
It was relatively new.
Okay.
So they called in a fingerprint specialist.
Yeah.
Specialist at the time period.
Yeah.
He showed up hammered.
Yeah. He was so drunk.
He was so drunk.
Yeah.
They sent him to the local hotel to sober him up.
Wow.
And then he came and no, he didn't find any fingerprints. He theorized that the person who used the axe was left-handed.
Right.
He found some axe gouges in was it the attic ceiling?
Yeah. And it's like,
the bedroom ceilings. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it was an axe and not like a hatchet.
No, it was a
it was
full-on
an
like
axe.
chopping wood axe. What would that be, like a 2.5 foot handle? Yeah, it was straight up.
I'm just thinking that if you're going to kill somebody, and so Josiah, was it like he got hit at least 30 times?
yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
That's, you could be a really sick, sadistic SOB or a vendetta.
Yeah.
That seems like somebody.
Right. There's something behind it, because I'm thinking when I'm chopping wood, and that doesn't happen a whole heck of a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're swinging an axe 30 times, even if it's into like a block of wood. oh my gosh, whoever had to do that, they had like a serious vendetta or some very tight reason, very specific to,
Yeah, trust me, I'm cheap, so I had a tree cut down out back.
Yeah.
I didn't have the stump grinder.
Yeah.
I used an axe.
Right.
To chop it down so the mower could go over and not hit it.
And you got whooped pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you want to be super strong and super in shape, just chop wood on it.
Here's your axe. You don't need a gym. Here's your axe. Go to town.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know at some point the killer or killers covered all the mirrors and windows of the house with blankets and clothes, and even the victims, I think they were covered with clothing as well.
Yeah, now that's an interesting point. Now, I've heard there's only two versions of the mirror. Some things I found online, they were talking about, the mirrors were covered.
Right.
And then I also found there was only one mirror. They only had one mirror in the house. But it was still covered. Did the person not want to see themselves?
weird.
Like, why would you cover a mirror? Now, you could look at other urban legends and things like that. You cover the mirrors so Bloody Mary doesn't come out.
Right.
Well, right.
But that's probably not why. Like, why would you? Did the killer not want to see himself doing it?
Right.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of threw me for a loop too, was that if you're covering mirrors and windows I get. If you're a homicidal crazy person. But
Yeah, you don't want no one to look in.
Yeah, you don't want anybody to look in and see
But
what
the
you're
mirror.
doing. The mirror, I'm thinking, why would you cover a mirror?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, is that so if demons or spirits or what you are they is whoever did this thinking that something's going to recognize it through the mirror, or
I don't know, but I'm going to still err on the side of I think the POS was disgusted with himself and couldn't watch himself do this.
Right.
Maybe.
So he covered it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't see himself committing these crimes, or
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a guess.
Yeah.
Another weird thing that was found there was this 4-pound slab of bacon. And it was, I read that it was found near the axe. I don't know if it was found there, but there was also a plate of cooked food in the kitchen that was like nobody had eaten it as well.
See, now Nash would be like, there's nothing weird about finding a 4-pound slab of bacon.
Who does not have a 4-pound piece of bacon in their fridge?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How big is a 4-pound?
I don't
slab
think it
of
was
bacon?
in the fridge. I think it was like
It's like that big, right?
Yeah, it was pretty big.
Well, you're holding something that looks about 24 inches big, and I'm thinking no.
And they found like a smaller slab of bacon still in the fridge.
Okay.
So did the person that committed this? Did they grab? Were they planning on taking that slab of bacon?
Maybe.
And getting out, and whatever something happened that they had to just let the bacon there because you don't take a slab of bacon out and eat it raw.
No.
You don't?
So they were thinking,
No.
right. No,
Maybe
it's
you.
actually not good for you.
I'm just
Right.
kidding.
You should definitely not do that, Nash. So did they have to? Did they have to split in a hurry?
Maybe there's a possibility that they were like, oh, I'm going to eat some food before I leave, and then they realized, oh God, it's sunlight coming soon, so I need to get out of here. I don't know, but they also left behind a bowl of bloody water.
Yes.
Which, if they did DNA back then, they would have been like,
Yeah.
possibly. I don't know. Although it was probably the blood from the victims, right, that he was washing off. So
Right.
I don't know.
Now, see, I agree with all of those.
Okay.
Okay. Individually, they cover up their mirrors so they don't see themselves. You got the bacon out for who knows why you would pull out a piece of bacon. Who goes around killing people and then be like, you know what I could go for? A solid BLT. And that doesn't really happen. But then the bowl of water. Okay, well, you got to wash your hands. I didn't find if the bowl of water was like on a counter in the kitchen. I thought it felt like it was like on the floor kind of a thing that they just found
Right.
like in the living room, a bowl of water, of bloodied water.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote down where
it
the
was
bowl
located.
found. Yeah.
The three things together to me, as soon as I heard about the bowl of water on the ground, I was like, this was a ritual. This was something next level.
Okay.
That-
Because of the bowl of bloody water, you thought
I'm thinking the blood from maybe some innocence. I am not one who does these rituals frequently or ever in my life, or even But I'm thinking these sound like an ingredient list.
Yeah.
You have raw meat, you have blood, you've got the water, you have the sheets on the mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this guy is doing something in the middle and maybe doing some kind of a ritual. I don't know. That's where I kind of thought this could be some next level stuff that could be here.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, that this could be like, was there blood splattered in a certain way, or I don't want to say like a pentagram painted on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
But
they didn't mention that, so I don't think
no pentagrams.
So. Yeah.
there are no pentagrams. But I'm thinking, okay, well, demons are often. I seem to think that demons are often associated with being in mirrors or in reflections. The raw bacon could be some kind of a raw meat, but then you have blood of...
No, it was definitely...
It was raw.
Raw meat.
Yeah, it was raw meat. But then you also have blood in the death from Josiah and his wife and all the kids. You have all these innocent kids in there.
Yeah.
You have all these crazy recipes. I don't know if it's to a larger puzzle, but I'm thinking maybe it is. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. And the authorities in the time period, they did not know either. In fact, they called in the bloodhounds. So they had the hounds sniff the axe handle.
Yep.
And they found a bloody rag that I think the killer kind of wiped a little bit of the axe off or something.
Okay.
So they had the hounds sniff that, and the hounds took off the back door. Down the street, and eventually went to a nearby river where they found clothing, a bloody handkerchief, and the authorities assumed, like, wow, this is probably fishermen,
Right.
or homeless people that were living along the river. They just chalked it up to like, it's probably not from the killer. But that was the extent of what the bloodhounds found.
Okay.
So again, still leading to dead ends.
Well, wasn't there was a report somewhere of somebody washing the cloths that were in the house?
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah, there was a... oh, my gosh. Here we go. There was a... Okay. Well, I wasn't ready to jump into that,
No.
but apparently...
You're in now.
Yeah, I guess I'm in it now. There was a neighbor who was either like a business owner. Josiah was in a business that someone had left the business and created a competing business.
Right. Okay. So Nash, that right there,
Yeah.
that takes us to the suspects.
Yes.
Yes. That's where I was thinking the suspects.
All right. So what you're talking about, he was an Iowa State Senator Frank
Yes.
F. Jones. They call him
Yes.
FF Jones.
Yep.
Josiah actually worked for him, and then decided to, probably follow a dream, start his own business. But he took the John Deere franchise with him from FF Jones's business. And that's huge. Even today, I mean, I think we all probably know John Deere.
Right.
We know their color scheme. We know their logo. I mean, you see people mowing their lawns
Right.
around
They
here
have
with
a
John Deere.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's huge that Josiah Moore was able to take that franchise. And that's where people were talking about that where Frank F. Jones would be like, not having this.
Yeah. So he was one of the suspects as well as William Mansfield. And the theory was that he was hired by Frank Jones.
Right. They called him William Blackie.
Yeah.
Mansfield. And I actually read it somewhere that William Mansfield, he had no idea that his nickname was Blackie.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. But also he was a cokehead. So he probably didn't know a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. He probably forgot a lot of things.
Yeah.
No, he actually, they believe he might have been a serial killer. He murdered his wife and infant child and parents-in-law with an axe 2 years after this.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And he is believed...
2 years after, the Villisca.
Yes. He is also believed to have committed some axe murders in Paola, Kansas, 4 days before the Villisca crime. He is also suspected in the double homicide of Ginny Peterson and Ginny.
And this guy wasn't
Miller.
literally just locked
In
up
Illinois.
in Alcatraz, permanently with the key thrown away?
No, he has been suspected of a lot of things. I don't think he was actually convicted.
Wow.
Yeah. And all the murders were basically carried out the same way with an axe, and people were hacked to death. So,
well, I also found some motivation behind Jones besides the business thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there was something where it says there was a rumor that Josiah was having an affair with Jones's daughter-in-law.
yeah, I did see that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they found out that they were kind of unfounded, but there was a rumor out there.
So you're saying Frank F.F. Jones assumed or thought that that was going on, or
he could have been hired by the Joneses for whatever reason, and then heard this rumor, and it could have put fuel on the fire, whether it was founded or not.
Right.
That it could have been there.
Yeah. So not only did Josiah take his business, he also was sleeping with his daughter.
As you do in 1912.
Right.
You don't? What are you talking about?
But William Blackie Mansfield, he was arrested, but payroll records, they provided an alibi for him. He was in a different state. So did he do it? I don't know. But records are showing he did not. So,
well, we have another suspect.
We do.
That would be the Reverend Kelly, who apparently also was a sexual pervert.
Yes, he was.
Now, he was from England, and he was like a traveling preacher, so he just traveled around and spread the word. But apparently he was in town the night of the murders,
right,
and split the very next morning.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
why he was put on, like, very suspicious that he was here last night, and boy, he was gone this morning.
Right.
And now he actually confessed.
He did confess, but then recanted right after.
But apparently his it was like very bizarre that it got thrown out.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like this guy was kind of like crazy a little bit too.
Yeah, I think he was he had a mental breakdown when he was younger, so I feel like his mental well-being wasn't the greatest.
Well, and I also came across, what was it, Lynn or whatever his name was, Kelly. He also had been seen like really, I guess, staring at the Moore family while they were in church, and they really kind of just like getting kind of weird on him. But then a local dry cleaner in town had received bloody clothing from Kelly a few days after the murders to clean the clothing. So that's what kind of linked Kelly to the murders, is that the dry cleaner was like, yo, you're bringing me bloody clothes. Why would you have a bunch of bloody clothes?
Now, and I also read that he was looking for a stenographer. I guess that's the kind of, with a courtroom, they take dictation. But one of the, people would contact him about being the stenographer, but he wanted them to do it in the nude was one of the requirements.
Oh,
You wanted what, to do it in the nude?
Yeah. You had to like take dictation in the nude.
I guess as you do in 1912. Yeah, wow.
And I guess this is how like the person that he was corresponding with about this, I think she involved the authorities a little bit, so they started sending letters back to see what they could get out of him. So when she responded about this, he got very lewd.
Yeah.
And they finally picked him up on sending
obscene materials
through the mail.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the post office.
Nope.
Wow.
Right.
I didn't know that was such a crime. I got to really dial back when I'm putting in the mail
Would you
these
be a
days.
nude stenographer?
No.
Nash?
I don't know. I mean, I might do more of the man thong than go full nude.
Okay.
You know, because I'm kind of Sasquatch-like anyway. So either way, you're not going to see a whole lot because there's mostly hair.
Either way, now I'm just like, could somebody do a drawing of Nash over a little tiny typewriter in a thong?
That's right. And the little headphones, doing everything. Going,
No, nobody draw that. No.
Please, for the love of God, no.
And then another suspect, the last suspect on my list anyway, was Henry Lee Moore.
I have another one, but go ahead.
Ooh, there was another one.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Henry Lee Moore.
Henry Lee Moore was a suspected serial killer. he is of no relation to the Moors that were killed. But he was convicted of the murder of his mom and grandmother several months after the murders in Villisca. So his weapon of choice was also an axe.
Yeah, what is going on?
Yeah.
Do they make really good axes in Villisca?
I don't know.
Is there like a strong like?
Well, I don't think the murders happened in Villisca. I think in that area, though.
Not the Henry Lee Moore killed. That was probably back in Missouri.
Probably.
Which is a fun aside because when I posted a photo of the Villisca house,
Yeah.
We got a little feedback on our Facebook group. You should join our group. It's kind of fun. But Melissa said there is a theory that the murderer was a convicted axe murderer from Columbia, Missouri.
Okay.
Where Henry Lee Moore was.
Yeah.
And that led to, Melissa said, I have a theory that Missouri is connected to everything.
Oh,
it's kind of like Kevin Bacon. Bacon.
Bacon. Yeah.
Thanks, Melissa. Appreciate that.
Well, I'm thinking also when it comes to like possible weapons to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to finish this side. Yeah. And then Nikki replied, Nikki M., as someone who lives in Columbia, Missouri, I can confirm it's the worst, and I'm not surprised an axe murder came from here.
Oh.
And then our buddy Will, he jumped in. I'm not too far away from Columbia, and it wouldn't surprise me if an axe murder was from there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
And then they invited us to come out to Missouri. And I'm like,
wow, that's a rough invitation right there.
There was also one war suspect, Andrew Sawyer, which was he was a transient, which is, I think, a good term for a homeless person.
Right.
But they would go using the trains. They would go from city to city.
Like a hobo.
Yeah. But there were he was obsessed with these murders, and he even slept with an axe. So a lot of people felt like it could have possibly been him as well, but he was actually in a different town when it happened. So I don't think it was him, but I think at that time there was a lot of homeless people that were getting rounded up for this, like as suspects. And you were saying that the gun sales, wasn't that
right? So you were talking about 1912,
right?
Iowa,
right?
I feel like it's a picturesque. Leave it to Beaver time. People are friendly. Everybody loves their neighbors. Locking a door.
Right.
That all changed. That the next morning when everybody about these murders, people were going and buying locks. They were going down to the hardware store. They were getting guns. People were actually putting like tin cans on string through the yard, like a little booby trap, a little early warning system.
right?
That whole aspect of, everything's great. I love my neighbors. It changed because of this.
Because of this.
Right.
And people were like definitely armed up, ready to shoot anybody. That doesn't belong in their house.
It sounds like, it was basically like anybody in the local region or anywhere even close who did anything with an axe was on the list.
Oh, absolutely.
But back then, everybody had an axe.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like you had a heat pump to
if you
take
were-
your house. You had a fireplace.
You had an axe.
If you were weird, or you might have said some things like, or maybe you were obsessed with the murders,
Right.
or whatever. So then you were a suspect.
Well, and I got to thinking also about some of them were the mental issues and a sexual deviant.
Yeah.
In 1912, that could have meant you didn't want to have a wife.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've come across insane asylums that were strictly for just people who didn't want to be with women, or it was women who talked back to their husband, got thrown in an insane asylum.
Right, true.
I'm thinking like, okay, well, you might have, all you really have in that time are axes and saws and guns and to hunt, and that's really about it. So everybody had an axe. To your point, everybody and their brother had an axe, and their mother had an axe.
Yeah.
That's how you got through the day. So,
with an axe?
Well, sure, you got to cut down wood.
9 to 5, show up to work.
You might need to butcher something out in the field. You might need to butcher some chickens. Who knows?
Instead of a mace that you're walking around with, it's a
Could
axe.
you imagine if that's how everybody still today got through their day. You woke up, you grabbed your axe, your good axe.
Your good axe.
Your workday axe. You probably had a weekend axe.
You know?
But yeah, you got it. Everybody's walking around the streets going to their job. They got their axe.
You got to
wow, that would be so weird.
put food on the table. You got to go butcher a pig. You can't like karate chop a chicken's head off to make the chicken.
Bruce Lee could.
Bruce Lee, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But you had an axe. Everybody had an axe. There was things you had to do, and you needed to have tools to do it.
Okay. Well, I don't think everybody was walking around with an axe.
Well, I would say most families, if not
But
every
it was
single,
common.
Super common.
Literally every household had one.
Every household had one.
to take care of their chores.
Right.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was actually Josiah Moore's. They
Yeah, it
grabbed
was
his
his.
axe.
Yeah. But it sounded like everybody that they tried to wrangle up was like, oh, well, this guy had an axe that he was carrying around with him. And
Pretty
the other dude had an axe. And this
guy slept with an axe.
he slept with an axe.
obviously.
And because the community was freaking out, everybody was starting to talk smack about their neighbors. They were just starting to think everybody could have been involved. Like your next door neighbor you don't like so much. People were losing their minds.
I saw them with an axe, and they were doing something, and they're like, oh my gosh, well, they're suspects now, or some craziness.
Now, because we definitely want to move over to the paranormal side, because the show is called Paranormal Punchers.
Right.
But again, to this day, this crime's not solved.
It's unsolved.
If it would happen, with our forensics and stuff we have nowadays, they probably would have been able to solve this crime super fast. But I don't know. It's still bizarre. It's like I said earlier, it's tragic. It's sad.
Yeah.
F that guy who murdered all these people.
Right.
But I think it left something because of the tragedy and how tragic it was. I mean,
it encased all those.
Yeah.
It left residual activity.
Mojo.
Yeah. Now, I didn't find a whole lot of people that lived in the house after this happened, but there were people that lived in the house, but they never stayed for very long.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to come right back after this break, and we're going to stay a little bit longer.
Hey, Mark, we're almost out of Moses Family Jerky Snack Sticks.
That's because you keep eating them.
Paranormal Punchers, you must listen to me. We are you from 10 days in the future.
Wait, in 10 days we get to time travel?
Just listen. In 10 days, you run out of snack sticks. This sends Nash on a rampage, setting off a chain reaction leading to the end of the world.
Me? I destroy the world?
There's no time to explain. Just order snack sticks now.
They have 3 great flavors: original, spicy, and teriyaki.
The portal is closing. We have to go. Order snack sticks. Save the world.
Is anyone curious how we learn to time travel in 10 days?
There's no time for that right now, Dave.
Right. We need to hit the road and stockpile snack sticks.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Go to mfjerky.com and use promo code SpookyJerky15 to save 15% off your entire order. Moses Family Jerky Snack Sticks. The best snack to pack on your paranormal or normal adventure.
Hey there, this is JB. And if you enjoyed Tales from the Crypt, then check out my show, Tales from the Podcast, where myself, and usually a very special guest, sit down to discuss the TV show, the films, the animated series, as well as the original comics. So check me out every other week on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and of course at talesfromthepodcast.com.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.
And we're back. I just like making you laugh, Nash.
Oh, boy.
All right. So We talked about the history side of it, what really happened, but, I feel like something is still like that. How the paranormal activity there, like what do you call that when it was such a tragic event that is like residual haunting?
Yeah.
Or the spirits, they can't get the rest. They're kind of like trapped in this moment, and there's a lot of strange paranormal things that happen in the Villisca house. Now, if you do want to experience yourself for about $400, you could stay the night.
Yep.
And do a ghost hunt.
They also do daylight, like hour tours, but
Does either one of those come with bacon?
probably not.
I'm just saying it would round out the experience. I'm just saying. I mean, I would if someone said $400 to go hunting, go ghost hunting, or stay in the place, and then or maybe $450, and you get unlimited bacon.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the bacon would really put me over the top.
See that? No, you would bankrupt the company because if it was like $400 for the night with unlimited bacon,
Yeah.
the unlimited bacon part, they'd be like, Nash,
Let's do
Nash
this.
just bankrupt our business. He ate
All of the bacon industry
Oh, boy.
is in Nash right now.
Now, everybody from like Ghost Adventures, all those shows, they have been here. This is huge, and
yeah.
even like local paranormal groups have been here. Paranormal enthusiasts that want to kind of seek out, what is out there. This is a hot spot where people come. Now, Liz, you have some strange
Yes, I do.
things that happen.
Some strange, yes. So people that come in there and investigate, but also just even the daylight hour tours, people have a feeling of dread and terror. Like they feel like
Like it's in the air.
yeah. So like there's been a lot of people that think, oh yeah, the ghosts of probably the children that died, they're still there. But also there might be something evil there. Like it might have been attracted to all the death and gruesome stuff that happened there. But there is a feeling of heaviness like around the main stairwell of the house and the rooms that are upstairs. Like obviously there was a lot that happened up there. So that people hear disembodied footsteps. People have seen falling lamps, flying objects. They've heard voices. There's been a lot of EVPs that have been recorded, mostly of like children crying, or there was one that we listened to that was it was almost like screaming.
It was like screaming. It was very creepy.
Absolutely. Like I had goosebumps listening to it. I was like, oh my God, that's awful.
And I would play it, but I think with the podcast playing through YouTube, it's not going to sound
Yeah.
that great. But I'll post the link. Mm-hmm. Then you can go listen to it with your own headphones and see what you think.
People have seen apparitions and shadows. Flashlights have turned on and off by demand. Like asking, hey, turn this on, turn this off.
And it happens.
Yeah, and it happens. There have been various videos and pictures that have been taken showing orbs and light trails. There was when you walk into the house, they have like a bulletin board with pictures that have been sent in from people that come in. There was one picture of someone who had a scratch down their back.
Ooh,
Right.
Yeah.
I actually saw it because we watched the Ghost
Yeah.
Adventures episode.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Zach did not get possessed on this episode,
No.
but he was talking.
Yeah.
He was talking to a paranormal investigator that was there, and he showed a picture, and it. They were talking about how they were doing a spirit box session.
Yes.
And they got what they asked it, like, who's here? And the reply was Legion.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then the guy was feeling uncomfortable. He wanted to get out of the house, and he like kind of buckled over, was out of breath before he
Yeah.
made it to the front door. And he described it as being hit with a baseball bat.
Yikes.
And then his back, he felt like his back was hurting.
Yeah.
And they lifted up his shirt and they took a picture, and it was like claw marks, but also it was in the shape of an L. And they
Yeah.
thought like, oh, how weird.
Yeah.
The spirit box said Legion, and looks like some entity just clawed an L into my back.
Right.
That's freaky. And I do not want to get clawed.
Yeah. So at 2 a.m., there's a train that passes through the town of Villisca. And it is thought that the whistle of the train triggers like residual events to happen.
Like an alarm clock almost.
Right. So many people have noticed a light fog that fills up the bedroom. And then just after the train whistle, it moves from one room to another. And once it dissipates, then you can hear the sound of dripping blood. Which is...
Are you talking about the people that are staying there
yes,
for the paranormal investigation?
Yes.
They see mist?
They see mist, and then once the mist goes away, then they hear, like, probably they hear liquid dropping. So they assume it's the blood, dripping blood from the victims. Yeah.
Do you think that with the train whistle... Now, I thought they thought that the killing happened about 12:45.
Yeah.
At night.
Yeah.
But the train comes by at 2 a.m.
Yes. They believe that it maybe triggers.
So it's something that it always has. So this train's always happening. So it's prompting this residual haunting,
right?
To just repeat itself. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And numerous psychics have actually studied the house. They've gone in there. They've declared the property haunted by the victims of the murder. So they believe that what's happening in this house is from the victims and not something evil. Others have felt like it's a very negative feeling that they have there. So,
but whoever committed the crime had to like see the whole energy spectrum with this really like crazy bonkers evil energy.
Yeah.
And then latched on.
What?
Well, yeah, because they were going in to murder 8 people.
Wait, you're saying that the person that committed this heinous act saw this dark energy?
No. They went into like a clean house, and they went in to kill all these people. So
maybe they opened a door.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I actually was
just how awful an act he committed allowed something to come through.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because it latched on to like...
Because it fed off of his energy to do this task.
Oh, okay.
And then also latched on to all of the spirits and whatnot for all the people who were murdered associated with it.
But it's super interesting. So with your theory, any act of this heinous crimes like this, acts against humanity where people are murdering, it's allowing... your theory, it's allowing demons or bad entities. It's giving them access because of the sheer awfulness.
So negative.
Well, and this kind of comes off.
It's
of
giving them access to kind of come into the pudding skin,
right? And that kind of gave me like a. I'm kind of developing this off of our Wendigo.
I feel like. I wish I could just call Rhonda right now. She might be able to help us with. We'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
Because like when the Wendigo fever hit people who received that inspired them to go out and kill and eat people.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, so what if he was either inspired by some kind of a negative entity to go in and do this heinous act, and then that linked all the murders in this place, or whoever did it was evil enough on their own.
It was definitely he was evil enough on his own for sure.
But it could be inspired by like a Wendigo type situation.
Okay, I'm with you. I was still stuck on when he was that evil that he killed all these people that it opened up.
Right,
it kind of split asunder.
Yes,
some dimensional rift, allowing because people claim that there's a dark energy here, so it allowed that dark energy in because of the heinous act.
Right. It's the malice from the person who did it and the evil intent.
Now that means that entity's in that house.
It's in the house. The energy is still there, and it's associated with all of these ghosts and from the people who were killed.
Right.
Now, when we were watching this episode, there was a dude who investigated there. Also lives like next door or close.
He's like a neighbor.
But he's also a paranormal investigator. But he felt like something followed him home. It was making him very agitated, very angry, and he was hoping that, the Ghost Adventures would help him out. But again, so this negative energy is now surrounding this house. So if you go there, do an investigation, it could possibly latch onto you.
So my question would be, the dude was a neighbor, right?
Yeah.
So you're out like mowing the grass. You know, you're watering the flowers, and you're like, whoa, boy, I felt the negative energy. Oh, it's right there. It's time to move.
Yeah.
Okay, you live next door. I don't know about the neighborhood and how far apart the houses are, but usually the sides of the houses are kind of close. Yeah, no. Bye-bye. It's time to move. Let's get out of Dodge. Let's get an RV. Let's go cross country. It's a beautiful area.
Well, sometimes it's not economically viable.
That's
to
right.
Move.
Yeah.
So how would you deal?
I would leave. I would
just leave?
I would just
Okay.
leave. It'd be out. It'd be like, there's an apartment I can go
He's
get
going to
somewhere.
foreclosure.
Wow.
I can go to an apartment while the credit is still good, or go look to buy a new house. You know, you could float it.
Would you sell? Would you try to sell a house that you knew was haunted or dark energy was in
But
there?
is it? It's not the house that's haunted. It's the house that's next to the haunted house.
That seems less scary.
So you could sell it. So you could actually sell it as an attraction or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I got to tell you, I don't know if I would stay there just for that exact reason. Is things are going to come, things are going to spill over. That cup is going to spill over, and things are going to come home with you. You're only like 15 feet away next door.
All right, so you think... Okay, that's interesting. So if you live next door to the Villisca murder house, it's possible that dark energy
Could spill over
can
and
spill over into your house and start affecting you negatively.
correct.
Yeah, you're right. Move.
Yeah, time to go.
But do you like have somebody come in, make your house look great? Like on
Stage the house.
Yeah, like on
the
what's
realtor
that-
shows or whatever.
that TV show you like on what show is that?
The Love It or Listed or something like
Yeah,
that.
Love It or
I
Listed,
love
yeah.
that. Yeah. I love it.
You could do that, I guess. I mean, yeah, why not?
How that this also sounds like a bit of a d-bag move.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I don't know if I would sell it, but somebody's going to buy that house or tear it down and make it like an observation point for this house. Or I don't care. Just get out of the house. Just go rent an apartment somewhere.
Get out.
Get out.
So there was one paranormal group that were doing like a live blogging type of thing while they were staying over there. There was one instance. One of the guys was up in the attic alone. He was asking questions. He had a REM pod with him. Okay. So he asked, "Do you want to talk to us?" And it beeped and lit up. Are you male? No response. He waited a few seconds and said, "Are you female?" It beeped again. Then he asked, "Are you alone?" Silence. "Is there someone else with you?" It beeped at that point. "Is it another female?" It beeped again. So at that point, he asked it to beep once. It beeped once. He asked it to beep twice. It beeped twice.
Oh, gosh.
And then he asked it beep 3 times, which does not happen.
Right.
Yeah, it beeped 3 times. So I feel like there's something there that is trying to contact people. There's a lot of people that are coming in there and staying overnight and doing
Right.
these kind of things. So they're trying to communicate with us. But I thought that was kind of interesting. When I was
Yeah,
reading,
that'd be a little. I mean, like when we go in, like stuff we done in Gettysburg, like that
Right.
would be a little unnerving.
That would
absolutely.
be, yeah, very much
Especially
so.
when he was like asking, "Hey, do this,"
Giving
And they
specifics
did
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so one paranormal investigator stabbed himself.
Yes.
Don't do that. That's bad.
know.
No, but it happened around 12:45. I mean, they call it. The guy's okay, but around the time they think that the murders happened is the same time that this guy had stabbed himself.
Yeah. He was by himself. The rest of the people that were with him were in a different room or whatever. But yeah, he stabbed himself in the chest with
What?
a knife. Yeah.
Like a pocket knife kind of a thing?
I don't know. They just said a knife. So I don't know.
So the entity, the dark entity,
Yeah.
is strong enough to manipulate.
Yeah.
That's like kind of mind control, right? Or is it just manipulating the body? Was a hard one. It forced him to. I don't know. And again, I feel like I want to talk to Rhonda. Like, is it possible that some spirits or these dark energy, like they can actually affect people that.
Not just your mental state, but also your physical state
Right.
also, so that it takes over a piece of you. So when you react, so the question that I would have for that would be, why was the dude holding a knife? Or did the knife appear in his hand unknowingly to him because it was the
It was
spirit?
probably a pocket knife. He probably had a knife on him.
Yeah, a lot of people carry
Yeah.
like multi-tools.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Stuff like that, yeah.
But how did it get to his hand? Did he remember going into the pocket and
doesn't
getting it
say.
out?
And that's the thing. All the articles I found about it was like, this happened and he's still okay. But
Yeah.
they didn't actually, like, he didn't say, hey, this is, where my mind was when this happened. Like, I
So-
didn't see any of that.
Yeah, no. So apparently, he was up there by himself, and the other teammates who were exploring other areas, and they had walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
So he came over over his walkie-talkie, and he called for help. And they went up and checked him out, and he stabbed himself. So was he calling for help before?
Right.
He
Right.
stabbed himself when it was like, it's bad. It's bad up here. And
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it.
Right.
Or
Did he do
did
it?
he stab himself, and that's when he came to from whatever
Right.
possible possession,
Yeah.
Right.
and then called for help.
It was his hand. Did something take control of his hand and he didn't even realize
Right.
that the knife was out and open and stabbed himself till just before he stabbed himself, I would imagine,
Yeah.
because you would see it.
I think once you stab yourself,
You would know.
you're pretty alert. You're like,
But if-
whoa, that hurt.
But if something has control of you physically, you could literally go into your pocket, grab something out of your pocket, and open a knife and not realize it because something else has control of you.
Yeah.
Now, this house today is more of a museum.
Yeah. I think it's basically for tours and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So-
but people used to, I guess, rent this or maybe bought it, owned it, and sold it. I don't know. But no, I feel like people that lived here, it was so negative for them.
Yeah.
And, they heard voices. They felt horrible being here, and they split. So that's why
Yeah.
now it's just, it's for tourism.
That's why I said before the break, there's been families in this house, but they don't stay for very long. There's something negative in this house that makes them just like leave.
I'm wondering if this is a modern day Dylan in the Blue.
What?
There could be a negative energy, basically a demon living in this house, created from this horrible tragedy, this horrible incident, and people are renting this place. Mm-hmm. And they're like,
Well, I think a modern day Dylan the Blue is our show where they
I'm
kick it
good-
and have a good time. They're like friends.
Well, yeah, but this is before they became friends. This was the previous renter.
Oh.
Well, on that note, according to one of the guides in this house, the town's name Villisca is derived from the indigenous name Villisca, which means evil spirit.
See, I heard, and I also, two things.
Okay.
Also, I heard, don't paraphrase me.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what I watched. Beautiful place with a view.
Okay.
Villisca.
Oh, okay.
But also, then I heard, it said that might not be true at all.
Okay.
So I feel like there's just a lot of theories and people making some stuff up.
Misinformation for sure. 'Cause
Misinformation.
This guide also said that the whole town is built on burial ground. So I don't know if he's
That is
just
how you get the movie Poltergeist.
I know. Specifically where they buried their enemies. So they buried them face down in shallow graves so that they would be doomed to walk the earth forever. So
Who did that?
one of the guides said that the whole town was built on these kind of grounds.
I mean, you're just asking.
That's a lot of grounds.
You're asking to have every building you
I know.
Right.
haunted.
So who knows if this information was correct or if it was made up to
To fit the situation.
But if they
Exactly.
bury their enemies face down, that means the enemy's like giving them the full moon,
right.
their ass up. Like,
Right. Yeah.
huh?
Well, and I'd even looked when as we were talking, I did a quick search to see if this was possibly qualification for one of the gates to hell.
Okay.
To see if there were demon involved.
Right, just like the Indiana Hell
Yeah.
House.
Correct. And I did not come across a gate to hell. So I'm
Okay.
thinking, okay, I'm just thinking that the culmination of the malice and evil that went into the murders, along with the souls that were involved and the kids who were killed, who were brutally killed, created this whirlwind of negativity and
Like a vortex. Almost.
really a
Yeah.
vortex that it would attract all kinds of spirits or demons or whatever. That maybe that's what the way it started, but now because of the attraction to this whole blender of just craziness that happened there, who knows what's there now? Who knows? But I'm just thinking that you couldn't avoid just this massive. I really would not want to be the neighbor on any direction within a couple miles of this house,
Right.
At all, because someone's got to mow the grass in the house.
Yeah.
Well, they have tour guides that give tours at this house, and they talk about hearing footsteps.
Yep. Footsteps for sure.
In fact, Ghost Adventures. Hate to reference that again, but they have a video clip where you can hear 2 or 3 footsteps, and this door that was wide open just slams.
Yeah.
And I tell you, dude, if we were at Gettysburg at the Jenny Wade House, if we caught that on camera,
We would have flipped.
we'd have flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they had like cameras set up to like capture
They
like
just
motion
had
cameras.
static
Yeah.
cameras just sitting, just
Yeah.
monitoring a hallway.
So yeah, you could hear footsteps and then the door
And
just slammed
it was
shut.
like fully open
Wow.
and
Yeah.
just
yeah.
literally like somebody walked by and said, F this door and slammed it shut.
Right.
So my question is for the tour guides who are there. Do you think they get paid to do that? I mean, they have to. They're tour guides.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
assume.
if you looked at the footage doesn't look like, I mean, I guess there's a possibility, but it doesn't look like anybody was like pushing the door shut. Like you can't.
I mean, it's
see
still
that.
a TV show, but
True.
it would definitely freak you out.
I'm just thinking of like the Robert the Doll situation where you had to talk to Robert and say, is it okay? Do I get your permission to take your photo? Whereas if this house has got so much negativity around it that it's
Right.
like, you know what? When you leave for your job and you're getting ready to go home to whatever you're going to go do, you're like, you know what? Please stay here. Do not follow me.
Not
home.
okay to follow me.
It is not exactly.
Stay here.
That's exactly right. Exactly. Do you have to like stand your ground? And
You got to stand your ground.
how often does that work?
I have no idea.
I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know. I really don't want to be a neighbor.
We got to get Rhonda. We got to get Rhonda back on the
I
show.
know.
That's right.
She could probably answer a lot of our questions.
Oh my gosh. Forget it. And trying to sell this house. Oh my gosh. How would you
Yeah.
disclose something like that? You wouldn't be
I
able
know.
to.
You don't,
Yeah,
right?
you
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
No, I mean, you don't.
You don't.
You paint the walls. You clean the floors. You're like, hey, look, it's beautiful.
Put a craftsman style furniture in there
got a-
and call it
yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
Gas oven. So if you're really into cooking, if you're a foodie,
That's right.
yeah,
That's
no.
exactly right. If you like bacon, don't worry. You're going to fit right in here. This is a bacon household. Okay.
What if the house always smells like bacon?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Nash, you would buy that in a second.
Oh my gosh. Count me in.
You know
Count
what?
me
And
in.
I didn't see anything about like people smelling scents or whatever. So yeah.
Who
But
doesn't
I
love
could-
bacon?
Who knows?
Vegans,
Vegan. Well, besides vegans, yeah.
vegetarians.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
There's a few people that
There's a
don't
few
like- yeah.
people, yeah. But it's so good. Bacon.
If you're vegan and you're listening,
Sorry.
we love you. It's all good. Choose your own path. It's all good.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Now, there's also some. Obviously, this is the kind of story that would have people write books and movies,
Right.
things like that. There's one movie I actually saw, but I'm only going to tell you about this simply because it has a little funny story. There's a movie called The Axe Murders of.
Vasilla?
Say it again.
Villisca.
Villisca. Thank you.
Villisca?
Well, I don't know. I can't say that. So this is this movie is about about these kids that break into the Vasilla house and they're going to party and have a good time, and of course things go bad. It stars Sean Whalen as the Reverend Kelly. So this movie decided to go with that the Reverend Kelly was the murderer. Now, Sean Whalen has been in a movie called People Under the Stairs.
Oh, yeah.
You might have heard of that. Also, you might have heard of a movie called Waterworld.
Oh, God.
He was in that. And he's also going to be in the upcoming Rob Zombie 3 from Hell.
Oh.
Now, here's the funny part. We were at ScaraCon, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And so we were doing the con. We came back from the con. It was time to relax, get some grub and a frosty cold beer. So Lish and I sat at the bar, ordered a beer, and I looked over to my right, and there's Sean Whalen.
Yep.
Housing a big-ass salad. It was a giant salad. He was just loving it.
My kind of guy.
And I kind of gave the little elbow to Lish, like, I know that guy. That was it. We didn't say hi. I was like, he's enjoying the salad. I don't want to interrupt him by, like, hey, bro,
and
can I get a selfie?
Funny is I know him from Twister.
Oh.
He was in Twister?
Right?
That's like the worst movie ever.
That's
What
not
are
the
you
worst
talking about?
movie ever.
I love that movie.
It's a terrible movie.
Obviously, because I was like, oh my God,
Bill
he was in
Paxton's
Twister.
in that. Bill
It's
Paxton
terrible.
is the boss.
It's the worst movie of all time.
Oh, honey.
Not of all time.
Dude, there's a lot of
refrain.
movies that would take
you're right.
that rank.
You're right.
Okay.
I put it in the lower 25%.
You really would put
Wow.
Twister.
Yeah.
I love that
Wow.
movie.
It's a tough movie to get through. I have a hard time with it. Yeah.
Wow, I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Oh, no.
It's
She
terrible.
loves that movie.
I do. I got it for my birthday.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
Got it in the
disaster
Blu-ray,
movies.
you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good. You know what your wife loves, and despite taste.
Oh, wow.
Wow! Wow!
Now you are on my...
The line has been drawn right there.
Hey, next week, join us when Nash is not on the show anymore.
That's right. When the rumble between Alicia and Nash happens.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, boy.
I feel like you got to sit him down and make him watch Twister.
I know.
On
I've seen
Blu-ray,
it. I've
in
seen
the
it
theater
so many times.
with the surround
I'm like,
sound going, bro. I think
Yeah.
you'd have
Oh,
a
my
whole
gosh.
different outlook on this show.
Oh my gosh, no, it's terrible. I've seen it maybe 600 times.
Oh.
He's just no.
Nash.
There's, you said 600.
Yeah,
You don't watch a movie you dislike 600 times.
my
Right.
wife loves
Oh!
the movie.
I see how it is.
Yeah, and it's I
Hey,
watch
Stephanie, what's up with his attitude?
I know.
it. And she comes every time it's on. She watches it 100%. And I got to tell you, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. Where's that axe? It's around here somewhere. I got to get rid of this movie. Yeah.
All right.
And on that note,
Hashtag Nash killed that.
Right.
That was interesting. I know every paranormal podcast probably talked about
Oh, yeah.
the Villisca axe murder house.
Yeah.
For us, it was something interesting and new.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. If we ever get out that way,
Ugh.
maybe we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, and I'll say it over and over again, it's so tragic and so sad. And I wish
Yeah.
they had the technology in 1912. I guess they didn't have
Yeah.
much just to catch this guy.
right.
And it's like, obviously, whoever did it, he's dead. They'll never.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
maybe someday with technology and people that just keep digging deeper. Because,
They could pin it down at some point, but
maybe somebody will figure it out. But
Right.
the person will never pay.
Right.
They'll never pay.
I mean,
for these heinous crimes.
do you think maybe these kids are sticking around because it never was solved?
could be. Could be.
Could be like that movie with Kevin Bacon.
Yes. Yes.
Where he's digging in the basement?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, the title just flew right out of my head. I love that movie.
Not Tremors.
No.
It's definitely not Tremors, bro. But
Or Footloose.
once his mind was opened,
Yeah.
he was starting to see this spirit of
Yeah.
this girl, and she led him into discovering who killed her.
Right.
It's called. Nash is looking at it right now. Dude, I own the movie. It's literally right over there, but I'm not
know.
going to get out of my chair to go get it.
I know.
It's called. Nope, didn't happen. I thought maybe I could open my mouth and it would just kind of
I
miraculously
know.
appear.
I'm like losing it.
While Nash looks that up,
Stir of Echoes.
Yes!
Oh my gosh.
That is
how
such
many
a good
people
one.
were listening right now yelling?
Yeah, they're going,
Yelling
Stir of
at us
Echoes.
because we,
Stir of
because we
Echoes.
couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's
such a good
actually
movie.
a great movie.
I agree. I enjoyed it.
Kevin Bacon is he crushes it, and it's just very tense. There's some scary moments, but I really like that he solves this murder because the spirit was able to connect with him and would not leave him alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Until he figured it out.
Right.
It was almost like he was sensitive, and the spirits didn't know until something.
And he
triggered.
wasn't sensitive until he had like his sister-in-law do
Correct. Like open him up to it or something like that. Yeah.
That's right.
Sleep.
Good movie.
Oh man, I might have to. We might watch that tonight.
I think we might.
Well, that was good. I hope you enjoyed our discussion on that. Now we're going to move on. One last thing before we end the show. We had a listener send in an audio telling us a story that happened to him when he was like 15. He wants to remain anonymous, so I'm just going to refer to him as Mr. Anonymous. And it's kind of intense.
Yes.
And now, Mr. Anonymous, it did sound like you were recording this as you drove down the highway.
Right.
So there was a lot of wind noise. I tried to clean up the best I could just so we could hear the story. And it's intense. And we'll talk about it after the fact. But listen, the audio is cleaned up the best it can be, but...
and you might need to adjust the volume or whatnot.
Yeah,
hear the first part and go back, and you might need to turn it up a little bit. So we'll try to kind of dodge out of it.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in after... right about when he's getting ready to tell the story here. So here we go.
Anyway, so I was 15, 16 years old. I just started driving, and my truck was a 1984 Ford F-150. You know, it's back when vehicles were made with steel, you know, and you could hit a tree and be all right. Anyway, it was about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't know the exact time, but I know it was early. I was on my way to church. And there's a stretch of highway, and I live out in the boonies. So, you know, I'm on back roads 24/7. And speed limits, you know, 55, 45, depending on where I'm at. So I was by myself. I'm on my way to church, being a good little Southern boy. And there's this curve in the highway that goes off to the right. And I paid attention. When I was younger, cell phones really weren't a thing, so I wasn't sitting there playing on a phone or anything. I was just driving. And I get around this turn, and I'm just about out of the turn. And the road starts to straighten up, and I look up, and there was nothing there, but I guess 20 feet in front of the truck, this little girl materialized, and my time frame I had to react to that was nothing. I didn't even have a chance. And so, 20 feet away, going 55 miles an hour, that's the blink of an eye. And so, I hit her. And she didn't just bounce off. I felt it. I felt the impact. I felt when she went under the truck. I don't know if you've ever hit any sort of an animal or anything, but when it goes underneath, you can feel it bouncing. And I felt all of that. I heard all of that. And as soon as I could, I locked up the brakes. And I sat in that truck with my foot on the brake so hard for so long. I was a wreck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't quite know what I just did, but I had a pretty good idea. And again, I'm 15, 16 years old. I am destroyed. This is... How could this happen? And eventually, I'm not going to say I relaxed, but I started moving again. And I wasn't about to drive away, so I opened up my door and I went to the front of the truck first. And as soon as I got around, to the front of the truck, I looked, and there was nothing there. Nothing at all. There wasn't a dent, there wasn't any blood, there wasn't anything. And I just thought, I don't know what I thought. So I walked to the back of the truck. And I figured when I hit her with the vehicle that she would be, maybe 100 feet back behind the truck in the road, and I saw nothing. I was standing there, and all you could see was one tire mark. And that's it. So I sat there, confused, blown out of my mind on what just happened. I couldn't tell you how long I was there, standing in the highway. It could have been a minute, it could have been 30 minutes. But as I'm standing there, this car comes down the highway. And of course, it stops, and an elderly man gets out and asks me if everything's okay. And I can only imagine what I look like to this guy. And so he got a little closer to me and he was talking to me. I can't remember what he was saying. But when I finally kind of snapped out of it, he was asking what happened. And I told him. I was driving down the highway and this little girl came out of nowhere. And, he went back to his car, grabbed a small cell phone, one of the old, I'm not sure if it was a Nokia brick or what, but he grabbed a phone, called the sheriff in the town I live in. It's an itty-bitty town. It's not even considered a town. It's considered a village. And so everyone knows everybody. So he went and told his wife, and he had also called the sheriff, and they showed up, and we must have looked probably for about 30 minutes to an hour for a body. And the sheriff had asked me if I was drunk or was under the influence of any sort of drugs, or if there was medications I was supposed to be taking but didn't take, and none of that, I didn't do any of that. And I guess I took it the wrong way. At the time, if I had a bigger plate to absorb what was going on, And maybe I could have tried to think about, what's it like in his shoes right now. He just pulled up on some young kid that's literally losing his mind and telling me some story about how he hit a little girl, but nothing's there. There's zero evidence. There's no damage to the truck. There's no body. So I kind of got the label of the crazy person for a while. Probably for about 6 years, people would see me in the supermarket, just poke and make fun. And it really sucked because I know what I saw. And it's not even, I know what I saw, but I know what I felt. I've been out in the country and I leave for work at 3 o'clock in the morning and I don't come home till 6 o'clock at night. So I'm constantly driving in the dark. I've hit a lot of animals, unfortunately. It's just, I know what I saw, what I felt, what I heard. I haven't been the same since. But it was so long ago, I don't know what I felt like before that. But it really messed me up. Yeah. It messed me up pretty good for a while. But the little girl, she was dressed in a little white dress with flowers on it, with daisies on it. And it wasn't like, little daisies. They were big daisies, like a sunflower. And they were just kind of all over the dress, and it was primary colors. It was nothing special, little blonde girl. She was probably about 4'2", right around there somewhere. But it definitely messed me up, guys. I'm glad I have found an outlet to be able to discuss this and share with you guys. Not only is it helping me out, but if we decide to use this story, it'll help you guys out, I think. I'm not sure how interested people are going to be in it. But who knows, right? Thank you. Thank you very much, guys, for being there for everybody that has stories like mine and needs to get things like this off their chest. I don't know if people really understand how important that is. So. All right, well, I'll let you all go. You guys can edit it down to however you need it. And, yeah. You guys have fun and keep up the good work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Anonymous, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I'm glad that, we could be there for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually come across this or heard anything about this. So I know the audio might have been a little bit, if you didn't pick all of it up, but he was driving his truck and a little girl appeared, what he said, 20 feet in front of him, but he couldn't stop.
Right.
Hit her, and he could feel the impact. He could feel it. And then when he checked, there was nothing. No damage to the truck. No blood. Nothing. Nothing.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, the community just thought
he was nuts.
Yeah. And that sucks.
I know.
Right.
I don't know if anybody out there listening has ever heard of something like this or experienced where you feel such like the realness of a ghost or something. Like you're like, that was real. That wasn't a ghost.
Right.
I don't know if anybody's experienced this that would like to share their story or help Mr. Anonymous out. Just let him know that, hey, it happens.
Yeah, you're not alone.
And even Rhonda, Obviously, Rhonda's becoming the expert for the show.
I know, right?
But I don't know if she's ever experienced anything like this or heard about this.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would be if that happened to me.
Right.
Now, I agree 100%. I can't imagine the confusion and what's going on because, I mean, I have hit a deer, you know, and this is a deer, not a person, but, and I have driven over, you know, where there's been something on the highway and I didn't notice it until it was too late and driven over it.
Yeah, and you can feel it.
You can feel everything about it. And then to get out and see that there was nothing, the amount of confusion that would ensue in your head, and how would you go about talking about it? And I'm so sorry you had to live through that. That's
and I'm glad we are able, like, hey, nobody knows everything that goes on in this world. So if, we're here for you. If you have if something happened and people don't believe you, we will listen.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine in a million years having that experience and just trying to process,
just cope with it, and
seeing that, feeling the impact, and then finding nothing, like it never happened. Like how?
Right.
I don't know how I could process that, and I feel like it's probably something that you think about daily because you've
lived it.
You know it. You saw it. It happened.
Right.
And everybody, there's no evidence. Nothing happened as far as every authority is concerned.
But every part of your being knows that this thing happened.
Right.
Yeah.
But not being able to explain it or show or any evidence of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the paranormal. We can't explain it. Sometimes you just have to be willing to
know that it happened.
Accept that you don't understand everything.
Yep.
Right.
And there's things you can't explain and stop trying.
Right. Exactly.
Mr. Anonymous, thank you so much. Hey, if the show helps you process things or just maybe puts a smile on your face, and anybody out there listening that has similar situations or things that people won't listen or don't believe you,
let us know.
Yeah. We will, because like I said, there's things in the universe that you can't explain.
No. Right.
Sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith.
Right. Exactly.
And know that it's okay not to understand.
Right.
But doesn't make it any less real.
Right. But sometimes you just love bacon.
Oh my God.
And I got to tell you, if there's bacon out there, I'm in.
Oh, God.
So,
yeah, and if you talk to Will out in Missouri, he's 40 to 60% chance if it's made out of humans, you'd still eat that bacon.
No.
Hey, Will, what's up? Now, with all the little what was happening on our Facebook group today, it really did get when we pregame, as always, like we go and
always
have a frosty beverage at one of our favorite little breweries here in E-Town. Thank God we have options of awesomeness.
Yep.
But we did amazingly. For some reason, we decided, like, how amazing would it be to take a little road trip?
Definitely.
And maybe do some live podcasting
on the road
at breweries in, like, I don't know, at least enough states to get us out to Missouri.
That's right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So we can meet everybody out there, even though they're making it sound like Missouri's not a place to visit.
Yeah.
I don't know if West Virginia was on the map or not, or if we're avoiding that altogether.
Nash might be laughing. My wife might be laughing. I am serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am dead serious. I want to get in a bus. And because, like, you only live once.
That's right.
And like you said at the pub, if only 5 people show up to listen to us talk,
that's all right.
That's 5 amazing people that we get to meet, and now our life is more enriched.
Exactly.
Because we got to meet 5 amazing people.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't think for a second we wouldn't attempt to do a little road trip.
Right.
And I have Alicia and Nash convinced. We just need to convince Dave. As long as he doesn't have another server issue in the Hollow Earth, maybe he'll come along.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it would be amazing. And I would just love to meet some of the people that listen to the show and contribute to the show.
Right.
that are part of the show with their stories and their feedback. For me, it's what Paranormal Punches is because of them.
Yeah.
And they're awesome stories. Not me rambling on forever. No, yeah. I think that would be cool. And again, it would enrich.
Yeah, we would have a good time. We'd have a really good time. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, with that thought, I would like to leave everybody with this little trinket. If it's not weird,
it's not worth checking out.